Hey guys, it's the 12/1/2000. It's almost close to 4:40 Pacific Standard Time for a Wednesday. Yeah, the mood lighting sucks, isn't it? I'm gonna try to do the Christmas lights all over the place. I just need to get another major one, but the lights just don't produce enough lighting itself. I'd like to light up an entire room by themselves where I'm able to do video. So I have to beg, borrow, and use overhead. Kind of sucks for me sometimes. Because I like the natural ambiance concerning about the Christmas lighting. So how is it on the depressing side of life? I feel like rent increase happening these days. Well, we all have to face rent increase once in a while. A lot of things happening, a lot of prices going on, expenses, expenditures. It's just a natural thing of life to deal with, especially in this kind of situation. Hold on. Well, I'll be putting out this video on YouTube, not to mention on Facebook, just to let them know. I haven't been keeping up as much with the politics over the past few hours. I do know that the Supreme Court is trying to make its decision on whether or not to basically destroy a law that's been out there for decades regarding a woman's right to choose versus a woman's right not to choose. Whether or not, if they're going to be saving themselves or saving them not selves. It's kind of hard to deal with a situation like this, especially on growing up in a liberal environment where women's choice is so paramount. Even a woman's choice when I was born could have saved me or not. However, my mother's decision to keep me from who and what I am, that's her decision. I don't want to force anybody to say you don't have the right to make that kind of decision, despite the fact we have religious viewpoints different. Kind of sucks though. But I'm alright. Not just not much sugar road versus weeds going. Not to mention, there was that Michigan shooting? I still haven't gone into the news section yet to see what's going on. That in Palmdale, there was a barricaded suspect. Thought they had more armament than the guy was showing, which was a rubber gun. Somehow they brought out bomb squad unit and a SWAT unit out there to investigate. I have yet to hear what's going on out there in Palmdale, California. As of the gentleman who did his dastardly deed against his kids, leaving a mother wondering why she married a schmuck in the first place. The guy has been arraigned this week sometime. Should have been arraigned and charged for murder. The political side of things, nothing much has changed. Political parties are still after each other's throat. The virus keeps mutating into different things that we don't even know what the hell it is anymore. Besides that, I'm still dealing with the damn depression left and right. Right? This is the damnedest thing to deal with, I'll tell you. It's the damnedest thing anyone's got to deal with in their lifetime. I know I kept using my past as a basis and a soundboard, not to mention something to compare my new life next to my old life and see what the differences and changes are during that time. This is the only basis I've got. It's hard to depend upon others for kindness, because I'm usually, a long time ago, doing things myself, getting things myself. It's hard to ask for even a few basic staples. It's embarrassing and humiliating and humbling, and it's against my former nature. I'm still battling it out right now. I should be able to get my own supplies. I should be able to do new things for me. And the thing is, when I have this damn mental breakdown, and it just hampers me doing the things I should be doing, that I need to be doing, that I have to be doing. It also hampers me to do the things I want to do to take care of me. I have to fight. If I'm going to fight, then I need to get off my dead ass and get shit done. I mean, that would have been the logic right there. I mean, don't you think? Probably would be. Some people don't think mental health is all that cracked up to be. It's like it's a fiction thing. Somebody wrote fiction. It's not real. It's not truth. It's not there. I hate to tell you people, but this damn thing is real. Some people thought it was a lazy thing for people to talk about. Oh, he's just being lazy. And I heard that too many damn times in my lifetime. I've heard the fictionalized accounts, but I've also heard the realistic. That pissed me off a bit. The thing that we kept hearing about mostly when it came down for some mental issues is usually soldiers coming back from the war. That's the only kind of version of PTSD we heard in the soldiers trying to reintegrate into society. We really didn't understand the damn thing until we were watching the movie First Blood and how that was working out. A Vietnam veteran snapped because somehow his PTSD got activated by a sheriff who's trying to do his damn job, but also being an asshole at the same damn time. Now, according to what the book was saying about this, Sheriff Teasdale was a Korean War veteran, and he had to struggle all his life, even after service, to get where he was at, and he didn't look at his problems as much. Of course, he may have had the mental strength and the discipline for him to deal with it. But in the characterization of John Rambo, it's a different story altogether, because he had been through a hell of a lot worse, or probably the same equivalent as Teasdale did. And Rambo's coming back into a world that's different than what the Korean War was. The World War II atmosphere, when the soldiers came back, they were having a hard time trying to adjust. And it took them a long while to get adjusted. The differences. There had been a black and white film right after World War II with actual World War II veterans who were physically disabled, and one of them was actually mentally disabled. And they were trying to show, and it's one on the Academy of War, I understand, what it was like for the veterans coming back home and how they were supposed to be dealing with the after war. how they were supposed to be functioning afterwards. And not enough of that was talked about in the public as much. Because then we had the the Korean War coming in, and then the veterans coming out of it, and they're still having to deal with the issues, and they couldn't even talk about the situation. Except maybe if they saw something in World War II, maybe they'd had something to chew fat with. But they both would know that they already had. So, some things could be talked about, and other things couldn't be talked about. But Vietnam was a different world altogether, because the generations and the public viewpoints, lifestyles, everything had changed between the 50s through the 60s and 70s. Public opinion about the war was different too. Vietnam War was our own damn creation. Just because we were trying to fight off the damn communist scare. Korea was basically an invasion of another country. But Vietnam had a lot of countries trying to take over this one swath, this one large swath of it. And they really wanted to have their own damn country, their own damn rule. But you had two different styles of rules going on in that place. They were still knocking heads. But we had to get ourselves involved after the situation, because we were already involved originally. It's not in the combat until back in the 60s. No, just a supply and demand, and that's about it. Deal with the leadership situation, political. Got complicated, convoluted. It was still complicated, convoluted. But how their soldiers came back is what I was trying to get to. It's whatever they saw, whatever they've been through, could not be dealt with or identified and not related to what's been happening in the civilian world and how they had to cope with the civilian world. We didn't look at it kindly enough anyway. As soon as we saw what was going on over there because of the press, snapshots and videos, actually snapshots and film, and we saw what was going on, and through different viewpoints had changed America's viewpoint of what the war was and how we looked at our soldiers sitting over there and coming back, either in body bags, either in pieces, mentally or physically. And how America was trying to deal and cope with those who were trying to struggle and survive, didn't even understand their own damn identity. Nobody had a clue. No clue. How do you deal with being an vet? Okay, bump it up a couple of decades at this point over here. We're still dealing with the aftermath of Vietnam. Veterans are still out there in the streets. Some actually have been trying to reincorporate themselves into lifestyles where they can either survive or they're self-destructing themselves. And now we had the Gulf War kicking in. Now we have this stuff going. Short, but the training is still out there. It's not the long distance, but still for about 1 month of firefighting or less, things changed. And how they looked at their life. Maybe some of them came back and felt different or the same, I don't know. I can tell you that the Afghanistan and the Iraq War Part 2, right after 9/11, had changed a lot of our veterans. Some of them actually were able to deal with it, others weren't. My brother came back from the first Gulf War, and he wasn't all that scrambled. But whatever missions my brother went on came back to haunt him decades later still, regardless. So that's kind of PTSD people have been trying to identify mostly. But we've had the PTSD with us for a hell of a long while, we just haven't been able to identify the damn thing. Car accidents. Traumatic experiences concerning about serious human interactions. Bank robberies, shootings, stabbing, muggings, loss of family, loss of property, nature gone wild. Take a pick. There's a lot of them. But they talk about them a little bit. Or how about relationship issues? The loved one, either male mostly, or female, gone wacko. Even worse, students, kids, violently acting out. Something happened in their past, something happened in their life, and they go insane over it. Try that one. So we're having different sections, we have different levels and different identifications of PTSD for every one of us. I figure we're a society of PTSD. We're just the walking dead and don't even realize it. And don't even know it. That's how we're able to identify mostly of it. But it's hard to talk about it. It's hard to talk about all the mental collapse that people actually have to go through in order to deal with life on a courageous, heroic level. Which drives me crazy that people keep thinking that we're supposed to be close to the Olympian to the Greek gods and goddesses. We're supposed to be brave, we're supposed to be heroic, we're supposed to be, macho. How many macho people have you seen cry like crazy because they've lost a loved one? But you berate them because they're crying because they have lost a loved one. But we're supposed to keep it in. We're supposed to keep all this damn nastiness inside of us. Because, God forbid, we should put it out there for the public to see. It's very embarrassing to the public. They don't want to see this emotional outburst. It's not comely. It's just what it is. I hate to tell you something with that particular stigma over here, but you're still living in the Dark Ages. You're still living in the Victorian Ages, maybe. These days, if you're hurting like crazy, you're supposed to be turning your parts out, not be this macho image. We kept thinking about the damn song back in the 80s. We look at the former soldier of John Rambo. We look at the A-Team. We look at the Knight Rider. We look at all these damn paradigms walking around, looking like they're Olympian gods or goddesses and stuff like that. They're not supposed to have any problems. Look at these people. Well, we've been shoved down our throats all the time. In literature, media, whatever format it is, we're supposed to be this way, not broken down, pain in the asses, old farts, hair falling out for reasons unknown, or having schizophrenic or psychopathic or some kind of psychotic trip. We're not allowed to have psychotic trips. We're not allowed to be broken people. We're not supposed to be broken people. We're supposed to be upfront, uptight. We're supposed to be someone else's image of what we're supposed to be, not our own image. When we look in the mirror, or at least I know I look in the mirror, or a reflective surface, and I don't even see who the hell I'm supposed to see. What am I supposed to see? Somebody else's vision of someone else? Okay, I'll tell you what I see. I have a foggiest what the fuck I am. Old fat guy. There, Lucy. Literally coming out of my head. As if I got radiated too much, but I don't have the radiation for that. Teeth about to fall out. Blood sugar got hell in a handbasket. Medical conditions in my family about to haunt my ass, or if they're hunting my ass right now, I'm not paying attention to it. My own mental health is the major thing I'm focusing more and more instead of my own physical health, because I already know my physical health is already deteriorating, so not a damn thing I can do about that one. My eyesight's going out. I'm having more problems focusing on things. Focusing on writing than anything else. Oh, I can watch television okay. With or without damn binoculars, but it seems fine. Looking at the computer screen and also looking at the cell phone all the damn time, straining the eyeballs left and right. But it did say something about mental health illnesses at this point, didn't it? All the stability, all the stoicism, all the machoism. All of the ways that I practiced a long time ago to compartmentalize and shove things into corners left and right so they don't come out screaming and yelling their heads off saying, pay attention to me. And yet if I happen to watch any show like that, I'll be laughing at the poor schmuck because he's not as well together as I am. But the poor schmuck is dying at this point over here, literally inside and out. And he just wants to get a physical release at this point because he's tired of life. I can't tell you how many damn shows I've seen that happen. Or when they're even talking about it on the news every once in a while. Some people say, oh, poor person. Yeah, that could have been you. That could have been your relative. That could have been somebody you know. But you didn't even bother to see what the hell's going on. But I'll tell you something. Even for a guy like me, going through the waves, going through the situation, this season, winter is the hardest damn season for me to do it. Not because of the lack of sunlight. It's because when I had somebody tragically die at the end of the season, that I cared mostly about my mother. And another person I cared deeply as well, my brother. He dies years later, but at the beginning of the season. So, to me, it kind of makes the winter stigmatized and ugly as hell. And hard as hell to deal with. Those so-called friends out there hardly even pay attention. And yet, the friends I've made here in the past couple of years have been getting a little more tighter than the ones I grew up with. What hurts the most is they don't even bother to pay attention to me. Or actually, I'll take that back. They don't even bother to keep contact with me to see what the hell's going on their end, or on my end. Even for decades. So that's why I got an issue with it. Meanwhile, life goes on. And to school next week. Or this week, maybe. And then after that, I deal with next term. I deal with February. I deal with the end of the month where my mother had passed away nearly a decade ago, and the pain is still there. But I deal with it. And I focus on the education. I focus on the material in front of me. Because I can also breathe a sigh of relief at this point because the winter's passed, and I can focus on the spring, I can focus on the summer, I can focus on several months of just living somewhat. But it's the 5 months that I'm still having issues with. September, October, November, December, January. Now, I did say about my mother dying in February. And that is true. Only because I got to get through January, and then possibly get through February. So I should say 6 months. That's half a year. That's half a year. But I always wanted to shorten it up 1 month, one way or another, just so I could get past the damn thing in the first place. So, while this video gets out there and bores the living crap out of people, not to mention on YouTube and on Facebook, I have to show the epitome of what mental health is, what the good parts of mental health is supposed to be, instead of the rotten parts of the person falling apart and falling to pieces. But then again, I have been coming across postings from other people that supposedly know, and supposedly know me, are suffering through it just as same. Loss of people, loss of loved ones in the family is just as bad and just as hard as any other people going through PTSD. Grief and depression, anxiety. I got the four horsemen trying to haunt everybody these days. PTSD is out in front, except if you happen to lose someone. Then it's usually grief's out in front, then depression, and then anxiety and PTSD following up the rear. So everybody's got these damn assholes visiting their heads. They're supposed to be making us more traumatic than we are. But we're supposed to be showing how strong we are, because we can beat this thing. We have positive attitude. We have faith. I have reality check. You have whatever you have. I have reality check. I still have to deal with it day by day by day. And if I happen to get through it day by day by day in a better atmosphere, then I may be doing a lot better than I think I was. And if I'm trying to kill myself, then I know I'm doing a hell of a lot worse. And since I'm not killing myself today, and since I'm already talking about it, trying to get it off my shelf, off my shelf, and off my shoulders and everything else, there may be a chance for me to survive this season. But maybe. I hope so, because I want to see what happens next year. With that, boys and girls, this is one mental health survivor. I may do another video down the road.